So with any good world building project, I think what we're going to do first is kind of figure out what kind of planet this is going to be first, and then kind of build up from there. Work on the planet first, all the terrain, and then we'll be working on the explorers and all that stuff next. We're going poster board, markers, and glue stick right here. And what I'm going to do with all this is plan everything out on this. I got a bunch of other poster boards as well. And we poster it up on that wall right there. Since I'm just like a visual person, and it just helps me a lot, instead of just, writing it on my computer and then have all these files, I'd rather have it all out there so I can see it and refer to it as I'm working on the world itself, right? So we're gonna be going old school. Now, I did figure out the planet, and I printed it off right here. All right, Darken Rock. Where is it? Darken Rock. It's 3 times bigger than Earth. 2 moons, 2 black moons with some red rings that kind of connect to the planet there, and it dyes the planet red as well. So first, let's cut this out, and then we can kind of start visualizing and storyboarding and all that kind of stuff next. Now, came up with this name, Darken Rock, because it just sounded dark. Well, obviously it sounded dark because it has dark in the name. Right? It just sounded like evil. And I want this planet to be pretty horrific. Eldritch horror is horrific. There we go. Darken Rock. What I did with this, I just went into a planet building website and kind of planned this out. Now the terrain for this isn't the actual terrain, that's just what it gave me, right? So we're gonna make up our own terrain with, I think, with the rice method, where you pour a bunch of rice down onto like a sheet of paper like this, and then you trace that line. I know some D&D campaigns and world builders have done that as well, so we're gonna do that. And wow, I didn't realize how much dirt this is picking up. My fingers are super dirty. Where'd that come from? But that's what we're gonna do. So we got the name, we got the planet, and then we'll make the terrain with the rice method at a different time. But I want to get some information on this planet written out right now. I like the idea of how this atmosphere, or the atmosphere, is like dyed by the rings of darken rock. Maybe they're poisonous too, like a gas or something, which would be kind of cool. Creates a slight red haze on the planet's surface. Maybe it's also poisonous to humans, right? Poisonous to humans, only lethal during the daytime. Okay, all done planning out the planet. Got the name Darken Rock. I like the names, very dark and ominous, which I like. This is going to be a very warm planet. Coming up there a little bit. 2 black moons, you know, they don't reflect the sunlight, causes the planet to be very dark at times. It is 3 times bigger than the Earth, which, you know, I want this planet to be a little bit bigger. Well, I guess 3 times is pretty big. Bigger than Earth, of course. It's a very lush and vibrant world. I love colorful things. I love making characters and creatures very vibrant and colorful, instead of just going with like earthy tones and making them kind of bland. Eldritch inspired creatures with some similarities to Earth's creatures, you know, so kind of take in inspiration from, you know, what we have on Earth here, mixing some anatomy, trying to create something gross and horrific on this world. Colorful plant life and a beautiful world with hidden horrors. So it's like you come down to this Earth and you see like how vibrant and beautiful it looks, but there's like a darkness hidden in the brush of the forests and all that kind of stuff, you know. This is going to have vast oceans and seas, more water than land. The plants, cold waters keep the fungus from spreading. We'll get to the fungus in a second here, okay, which will be here. So it's going to have north and south poles covered in a kind of like a purple mass, possibly a red mass. I'm not too sure yet. That might play into the whole atmosphere when we get there. Underneath it though are very cold temperatures, icy water, ice caps. You know, it's a cold biome, very kind of like the Antarctic, right? Only cold place on Darken Rock besides the deep seas. So the north and south, you know, what type of fungus? It feeds off the heat, it hates the cold. You know, insulated the cold regions on Darken Rock, which is the north and the south. You know, how did the masses get there? You know, what happened? Did it infect other creatures, civilizations, and had them all kind of migrate and merge as one, creating this giant mass at the north and south poles? Mass planet wild infection, maybe over millions of years ago, and it covered the poles, you know, all merged into one giant fungus. I kind of like that idea. Might play with it down the road, but I do like that. And of course, as we start to flesh out the creatures and more of this world, we'll start adding more to this, probably on the backside there. Don't look at the table, it's a little gross. A lot of paint. So it's gonna be like a sci-fi fantasy horror, I'm thinking. And the rings of Darken Rock dye the atmosphere red. See the black moons there, the red rings kind of connecting into the planet. Creates a slight red haze on the planet's surface, which can be poisonous to humans, but it's only lethal during the daytime and is activated by sunlight. Nighttime, totally harmless. The rings absorb the red star's energy, keeping the planet warm. And of course, you know, the sun that it revolves around is the red dwarf star, or a red dwarf star. Biomes, hot, tropical, desert, forest, marine, freshwater, tundra, you know, it's pretty similar to Earth almost. Now we're talking about the daytime and nighttime cycles. Daytime has like this red haze to it from, you know, the rings there. It's very hot, temperatures averaging 40 to 70 degrees during the day. It's constantly hot. It does rain there though. When it rains, you know, it kind of looks like blood due to the dyed atmosphere. Toxic if ingested. You're okay if it falls on your skin, but just don't drink it. And you will need a respirator in order to breathe during the daytime. But since that is only activated during the day, we go over to the nighttime. The red haze is gone because, you know, red gas from the atmosphere is activated by sunlight. Breathable air, so you don't need your respirator. Very dark due to the black moons, but there's like a slight light from the planet's red rings because it absorbs the sunlight. And the temperature drops down to 30 to 35. Still hot, but more bearable, able to breathe. And that is what I've gotten so far. Next is we're going to be doing the landscape. So I don't have any rice. I was going to do the rice method here, but we have this thing of gravel. Yeah, gravel from the dollar store, $1.50, which I'm using in another project. But we're just gonna get like a blank piece of paper. We're gonna kind of pour it on, try and make our terrain or I guess our world map, and then we're gonna draw it on the outline of where we poured the rocks to create that map. So we're gonna do that now. But yeah, let me know what you think of this planet so far, and if you have any suggestions, let me know. Yeah. Got our sand or rocks, and now our pen. So we pour the rocks on, and then we draw the map. So we have these markers here, just simple paper mate markers, just from the dollar store, and we're going to use more of this kind to do the whole terrain and figuring out, making little lines around the coastline where land meets the ocean. We're just going to first start out with doing where the coastline is. Pretty simple, just making like a line, dot, line, dot, line. Kind of give that look of where the ocean meets the land, right? When you see in those fantasy maps. Adding some like extra islands up here, and then these are just like what would they call them? Like sediments, rocky cliffs, something like that. Kind of where the main river exits into the ocean. Also over here. Don't want to make them too big, just because this is a big world, 3 times bigger than Earth, right? All right, we're all done with the map. As you can see here, we got jungle area, a couple mountains, big old crater that we'll be exploring at some point here. Sand dunes, like the desert, a lot of kind of like deep areas as well that leads to underground caves and caverns. We got over here kind of like canyon areas as well, you know, dried up lake beds and river and all that. Kind of inspired by Dune itself, you know. Got a couple islands over here that we did. This is like a giant cavern area that also leads underground as well. Here, this island got infested by the fungus that we were talking about earlier. And of course, you know, up in the north and the south here, down there, those two poles is where the fungus kind of like grew over, right? Mountain here, or I guess a volcano, because volcanoes are fucking cool as well. And just some little islands, home bases for the explorers. That's gonna be the main base there. And over here, now we got more like some marshlands, mountains, some kind of like craters as well. This is more like the forest areas or the mountains and lakes, flatlands, grasslands, grassy lands over here as well, forest. So we got pretty much everything we need for this world, but that is pretty much the map all done. So I'm thinking the next thing that we're going to work on is probably the explorers of this world, kind of building up that backstory for them and the corporation that they'll be working for, and kind of like the whole history of that. Ooh, also, I have finished working on one creature that we did on my stream. You know, I stream here on YouTube and also on Twitch, Metal's Warehouse, right? We finished one creature, which I can't wait to show you guys. On stream, sculpted it, painted it, the whole thing, even made like a little base for it. And things like 14 inches tall, a little sea creature. You can see it on my Instagram, little sneak peek. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, comment, and let me know your thoughts on this whole world building project. If you have any ideas or any suggestions, maybe you've done this world building thing before. I haven't, you know, got any information for me, definitely let me know. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. And be sure to subscribe. And yeah.